Outcome-based budgeting is based on the results-based management principles. The only difference being that OBB integrates the planning, budgeting, and monitoring and evaluation using a single result framework with a focus on outcome in its planning framework. Good budgeting is a way of ensuring that limited resources are allocated only where there are priorities. Priorities are best determined through proper and rigorous analysis of a situation or situational analysis. These priorities are then articulated as our intentions or what we hope to achieve. Often, this is referred to as an end state, or more commonly known as an outcome. Outcomes can be as simple as successfully and safely arriving at a destination, or could be as complex as successfully sending someone to the moon. Focusing on the end state is nothing new. In fact, in the early days, it was introduced as management by objective, or MBO. Private sector's end state is often reflected in its bottom line, whereas in the public sector, end state is more complex and challenging, given that it is not bottom-line driven. Examples of typical outcome statements could be increased literacy, reduced mortality among infants, reduced poverty among farmers, increased competitiveness. Identifying outcomes will require detailed situational analysis, and its implementation will require a good and detailed action plan. Detailed plans will also assist in better budgeting and performance monitoring. OBB shifts the planning paradigm by focusing on achieving outcomes at the lowest cost in the shortest possible time. The move to focus on outcomes was emphasized by the Prime Minister during the 2011 budget speech, when he stated that by merely focusing on outputs, the delivery of goods and services alone was insufficient to fulfill our aspirations of being a developed nation. Outputs such as training programs, patients treated by doctors, number of passports issued, number of clinics or schools built, only represented part of the journey and not the desired end state. The desired end state or outcomes would be to attain increased skills or knowledge, improved health, improved student scores, and so on. Hence, OBB was designed to focus on outcomes and to detail out the programs of intervention that could lead to these outcomes through a rigorous planning framework. The outcomes, or the end state, is a critical point in OBB, which is defined as changes we bring to a problem or need situation, often linked to our clients and stakeholders. We look at clients as the fundamental reason for the existence of a program. Examples of these include patients for health, students for education, farmers for agriculture, and so on. Linked to this would be the stakeholders who have a vested interest in ensuring that the program succeeds. They could include the Minister, the Cabinet, the Budget Office, the Farmers Association, and the Parliament, to name a few. A logic model known as the Program Logic and Linkages, PROL model, will be used in identifying the right outcomes. Simple management tools such as the problem tree analysis will be used within the model in identifying the strategies, the outcomes, the interventions, and the type of outputs that need to be generated by the program. Resource requirements such as human capital and finances will be determined by the type of outputs that need to be generated. Resources requirements here are similar to factors of production in production theory. Conducting training programs, awareness programs, doctors seeing patients, and teachers teaching will attract cost, and this cost must be determined. To sum it up, outcomes are the end state we want to achieve, so that clients' and stakeholders' needs and problems can be overcome. Outcomes can only be achieved through an intervention program that generates outputs to which cost must be determined and allocated. For accountability purposes, program managers will only be held accountable for preliminary outcomes. However, they will be required to track its progression to the intermediate or tertiary level to ensure that the desired end state is finally achieved. An example could explain this situation better. A program manager in the agriculture department was told that he had to reduce poverty among paddy farmers by 10% in 5 years. This would be the desired end state or outcome. By mapping a simple logical sequence of events, he determines that to reach this desired outcome, he will first have to increase paddy production. And this can only be done by increasing his yield. The strategy, therefore, is to increase his farm yield. A series of intervention programs or outputs, such as training the farmer on better farm management practices, providing better quality fertilizers and seeds, and providing better infrastructure, will contribute to the preliminary outcome of increasing yield. The program manager will be held accountable for increased yield, the preliminary outcome. However, he will continue to monitor to see how many farmers will contribute to reducing poverty, the achievement of the tertiary outcome. OBB also introduced a number of key features to further consolidate program planning and implementation in an integrated manner. Firstly, the top-down approach in OBB allows planners and managers to vertically align national priorities down to implementation levels. Next, outcomes are often shared among programs and will require clear horizontal linkages to ensure all entities contributing to it clearly understand their roles and responsibilities. Thirdly, OBB focuses on budgeting for programs, which will have components of both capital and operating expenditures. The Economic Planning Unit and the MOF will have to view budgets through an integrated approach to reduce redundancy by focusing on program outcomes. Fourthly, the success of OBB will be determined by its ability to clearly identify performance indicator, assign accountability, and hold managers accountable for results. All of this can only be achieved with the development of a robust monitoring framework. The MyResults, an online application, was built as a management tool to assist program managers manage their programs more effectively. The results framework only need to be developed once and refined in subsequent years. The focus of OBB will be on achieving results. OBB and the MyResults application is a management tool, and its effectiveness will be determined by its utilization. Culturalizing performance will be the biggest challenge at the ministry level. For performance management to be effective, it has to be demand-driven at all levels.